I would like to talk for a second about something that interests me. And later on in the Breakfast Club interview that Andrew Yang had with Charlemagne the God, there was talk about what he's going to do next. And we have always had the inklings that he would, be interested in maybe a VP slot. We were talking about that 6 months ago with Joe Biden, if something were to happen and so on and so forth, because he did go up to him and say, the middle class is dying. I'd like to talk to you about UBI. And then we also had speculated on this show that, man, a mayoral run for him would be awesome. And he could maybe even run a UBI pilot program in New York City that could gain steam and really prove that it works. And the next thing you know, that was weeks before the Humanity Forward PAC came out. So now it looks like Andrew Yang has actually kind of confirmed that he has indeed been offered these positions, and it looks like he's seriously considering them. And he actually did say, yes, I am looking into a mayoral run. Can we play can you show us what's going on with Charlemagne the God?
To beat Donald Trump.
Oh, whoops, let's start that again.
I'm hearing that you're considering running for mayor of New York, Andrew. Any truth to that?
Well, I'd love to help in any way I can, and certainly if I can help the people in New York, I'm going to do everything I can. My campaign's issues were around national issues, frankly.
Yeah.
But we're looking at the mayor race, and certainly wouldn't rule it out.
Because I was going to ask that if you were mayor, you couldn't push universal basic income and a lot of other legislative ideas you have. So what would happen to that?
I think there are ways you can always push universal basic income. Like I'm not in an office now, and like I'm finding a way to do it by giving away this money. Mm-hmm. So there, as mayor, I'm sure I could do a lot. As mayor, I bet I could get some people together who still want to run universal basic income pilots right here in New York or in other parts of the country.
I like that for you. I like Andrew Yang, mayor of New York.
Oh, thanks, man. That's really kind.
I like that.
That's a pretty solid
there have been a lot of people that have
right
reached out saying,
Cody.
"If you run, I'm in."
That's going to be on a campaign commercial
it's very
somewhere.
gratifying. We'll definitely look at it.
So you think that's a possibility?
It's a possibility for sure. I mean, that there are other possibilities too. Like obviously, if the Democrats beat Trump in the fall, there's a good chance that I join the administration in some form. So there are different things on the table. First things first. First, we got to take care of our people. Then we got to get money into people's hands at like a grand scale to try and get through this crisis. We have to figure out when we're going to reopen things. And then we got to beat Trump in the fall. There's a lot on the plate.
Has Biden promised you a cabinet position?
We've talked, and I'd have a place in the administration is the pretty clear message.
You endorsed Joe Biden, but I remember you saying you wouldn't endorse a candidate who didn't endorse universal basic.
All right, and then from there on, he just goes on to mention that he's like, I endorse Joe Biden because he's the eventual nominee, as I said I would. The key there, as you pointed out earlier, was the fact that he basically said that it's been done deal. If Biden's elected, Andrew Yang's in the Biden admin, according to Andrew Yang. He's basically described it as like, there'll be some role for me. We've discussed it. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of if he wins now. That's a pretty big omission. That's a pretty crazy thing.
Yeah. And we'd always speculated it before, but it's also good to hear it from the mouth of Andrew Yang himself confirming this. And I personally have a little bit more interest in the mayoral run myself, just personally, because I would like to see Andrew Yang at the helm of something, not in the third, fourth, and fifth position of decision making, just because UBI is such a very specific thing that can be easily skewed into something that it's not, if that makes sense. That I really think if it's better to have a small UBI program to prove that it can work somewhere, run by somebody who understands how it should be, that it should be universal in nature, that it should be means tested, that it should be a basic income and not just like a stimulus, and so on and so forth. And that also it should be compensated for by a VAT that could be executed. I really think the New York City mayorship, is that a word, Cody?
Sure.
We'll just go with it for today. Yeah. I think that would actually be a really interesting position in which you could really truly test whether or not UBI could work and have data from both insanely rich people, very poor people, a working middle class. You could do all of that and actually have it work. So I'm pretty interested in, I would be very interested in seeing him run for mayor, just because I really think that's a position from which you could actually make some influence and prove that UBI works, because that's pretty much what he's known for. What did you think?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay. Anyway, let us know what you guys think. Please continue the conversation in the comment below. If you haven't followed us on Twitter yet, follow us at PSP Radio 1 and consider joining the channel. It's a great way to keep these videos coming to you daily without corporate sponsorship. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you guys in the next video.